It's time to take a look at what we have in the Scouring, my fellow RTS fans. This is a fantasy real-time strategy game with base building which is currently running a playtest on Steam. If you join up, you can try out its two-faction war between humans on one side and orcs, goblins and ogres on the other in skirmish versus AI on 3 different maps. I have chatted with the developers and they don't hide the fact that their inspiration came from Warcraft and a few other genre-defining games, but they have implemented several new ideas that enrich the gameplay and make it more dynamic and interesting. Like how, for example, you can put units on top of buildings and even engage in melee fights up there. Players of Stronghold will feel right at home, but there are no high walls, just barricades of sorts. Such buildings include your town hall, which is upgradable, barracks, defense towers and outposts spread across the map. When you set up a few cannons and archers on top of these, you secure good map control or solid base defense. The cannons are powerful but take a while to reload. You can use them in offense too, but I will get to that later. The units don't have more than a few upgrades, and there are no heroes currently in the game. This is something devs plan to add along with a whole dedicated game mode for heroes gameplay. The reason you need such powerful defenses is because the second weight is in the devs enrich the old gameplay formula. They have implemented a Day&Night cycle, which brings undead creep invaders to your doorstep. As night falls, these creeps spawn in and start attacking your gold miners, woodcutters and farmers. They can't easily break down buildings as they don't bring siege engines, but what they can do is definitely put a stop to your worker-based economy. This divides your attention from just combat versus the enemy player to base protection from the undead creeps. And these are not the only type of creeps which inhabit these maps, because each new gold mine and path of travel are infested with creep camps and units which are there during the day and night, at least until you clear them out. The gameplay is such that you have to expand as the AI will overwhelm you unless you have an equally strong economy and army. Building and recruiting these armies takes a lot of gold and wood. The gold mines and forests providing these resources are finite and will get exhausted as the match goes on, making conflict over limited resources inevitable. There is, however, another source of income, as when you destroy both creeps and enemy units, you gain a bit of gold. This means that snowballing is a factor, but also that the defender's advantage is boosted by the attacker feeding him gold if the attack force is defeated. The base building aspect is currently quite simple. The town hall supports gold mining, is a place to recruit workers and needs to be upgraded to unlock more powerful units and all the available buildings. The human faction gets the knights as the top unit, while the orcs get ogres to buff up their melee lineup. The lumber mill is not necessary for woodcutting, but gives you a production boost and a closer delivery point. The third resource, food, is produced at farms, which can be operated by up to 3 workers with diminishing returns. There is no hard population cap, but rather a floating one that is raised with each new farm and food income, while it is spent by new recruitment of units. Running out of food doesn't stop everything, but slows it down. These elements combine with the need to expand over the map as the match goes on and make for an incredibly well-flowing gameplay, which is very easy to pick up but hard to let go, even when a match stretches on up to 30 minutes for non-aggressive players. The engine the game runs on is custom, and it took a single dev 3 years to make. The assets are handmade by a very small team of developers who have lots of experience, and a few people are helping them out. They plan to let us create and add content to the game by having Steam Workshop integration and editors for map and mode making. Even the AI scripts can be custom made and added in the form of extra player created content. Since the development team has been funding this indie game project themselves and don't have a publisher or investors, they are starting small with 2 factions and a limited roster of units. They do have plans for more factions and units and are currently developing a story and lore for a campaign. I have played several battles in the currently available skirmish mode and have to commend both the impeccable performance and stability of the playtest version. It's been a while since I have played a game with such simple combat, which has its quirks with units on top of buildings and creeps which attack you every night, and it feels just right. The bigger the map and number of players on it, the bigger your base gets and the number of skirmishes you have to fight across it. It can feel overwhelming, but to me the speed of units, their HP and attacks, make it flow at the speed at which you don't need high APM to command it all, at least not against the AI. In the multiplayer, that would probably feel a lot different, and we will not have to wait long for the developers to let us try that aspect of the game. The multiplayer demo is currently scheduled for the 6th of January and will last about a week, until the 12th. I hope to see many of you there so we can cross swords and axes to see which faction is stronger or are they actually balanced. Also, from what I understand, there will be a campaign for this game eventually, we just have to be patient. The one thing I was really missing in this version of the game is the ability to zoom in and enjoy the combat animations close up. This is something I love to do in every such game, but unfortunately the cinematic camera is currently locked for the development mode of the game. When it comes to the balance of units, the Orcs feel a bit stronger, but I do need to play more to get a better sense of it. There is sort of a Veterancy system in the game right now, where units get XP as they destroy enemies and level up. It is shown when you click on them, but also by an icon above their heads. I am not going to go into too much detail on this mechanic, as it will most certainly change over time. The cannons are the ones that feel like they're the hardest to use as ground forces offensively, as you have to deploy them each time to a new location, they don't have very long range, and a very narrow cone of fire. Their firepower is great, and they have a nice looking animation and effect to them, both human and orc ones. I just hope there are going to be more units like those with extra upgrades and abilities in the future. This is just one thing these developers need to work on more, while another is to improve the current UI to allow more units to fit into the selection. As in the biggest fights I had, I wasn't able to group all my grunts, for example, into a single group because of the current limit. The use of the few abilities units have needs to be changed because some are on autocast while others are not. One extra feature I haven't mentioned is the AI assistant option you can turn on when setting up a match. What this option does is to give over base building, resource collection and unit recruitment to your own AI, leaving you free to just battle it out on the map. You can turn on or off the option for the AI assistant to use resources, meaning it can't place new buildings for construction or recruit new units unless you once again enable the resource spending on the top of the UI. This is similar to what the developers of Immortal Gates of Pyre have created in their own game, and these kinds of AI assistant systems can definitely help out players, even those who are new to the genre, to participate and join the fight. And our favorite genre definitely needs more fresh blood in the player pool to grow and claim its throne back in the gaming world. I hope you will enjoy this playtest, be there for the multiplayer demo, and make sure to wishlist the Scouring on Steam. For more similar games, check out the cards on the screen or links in the description. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!